Well, it's WrestleMania talk. And fair warning, guys, I've recorded this podcast 4 times. Because every time I do, I forget something. And this was supposed to be up on Tuesday. And the first time that I recorded it, I got interrupted, forgot to finish the recording, and I deleted the recording by accident, recorded it again, and then got way off track and didn't like how I was recording it, and then tried doing it earlier today, and I was distracted, and now I'm doing it now. So today is Friday, April 8th, second day of the Masters. But we're not talking about golf. We're talking about WrestleMania. And I took notes. And I'm going to try and go through this very quickly because there was a lot, all right? There was a lot that was going on. There was a lot that happened in both nights. I want to talk about the main things. I want to talk about some ancillary things. I just want to talk. So, I did take in-depth notes about all of the events that happened at WrestleMania. So let's get into it. WrestleMania Night 1. Let's start off by saying Pat McAfee is a fucking treasure. I love Pat McAfee. I think he's one of the best things to happen to WWE in a very long time. I think he's energetic. He's that pop that WWE needed. So, yeah, McAfee is absolutely insane. I love him on commentary. I think he's fantastic. Also, while I'm talking right now, I'm mixing a drink. And it's not an alcoholic drink, surprisingly. I saw this thing called Magic Potion. It's a sour drink. You drop these little tablets into it, which may or may not be LSD. I don't know what they are, because I bought it at a convenience store, and these 2 little kids in front of me convinced me to get it. So, there's 3 of them in here. Do you just put one of them in? I don't know. They don't tell you what flavor it is either. Oh shit, excess consumption may have a laxative effect. Well, I shit 9 times a day anyway, so who cares? Alright, let's drop a tablet in. Oh, fuck, no, they all went in. Alright, well, this is going to get interesting really quickly. So if you hear me gagging in about 5 minutes, it's because it's done. Alright, WrestleMania Night 1. The first match of the night was Nakamura and Boogs versus the Usos, and I hate the fact that Nakamura and Boogs did not win. But I know why. From what I understand, the injury for Boogs was not planned. He tore his quad. Like, lifting up both the Usos, he tore his quad. Which sucks. Because, like, that was a fucking match that I was really looking forward to. And I like Boogs. I like the fast-paced match. I thought that, I was thinking, like, Boogs could be a mid-card champion in, like, a year. And now we might not see him for a year. So, I don't know. And by the way, when did the Usos start using a 3D? I don't know if this is just me, like, not being in touch with everything going on lately, because I've been watching AEW, but the Usos utilizing the 3D at the end of the match was great. They pinned Nakamura, 1, 2, 3. I think a lot of it was audible, though. Drew and Baron Corbin. Happy Corbin. And I'm going to admit something, guys, and you're probably going to think I'm nuts. I have always liked Baron Corbin. I've always thought that he was great. On the mic, I think he's got a great character. I think he's got that, he's got the ability to make you hate him. However, on Instagram, he's a fucking cool dude, and he's like a barbecue enthusiast. So, I would like to have barbecue with Baron Corbin one day. I really like the build-up between him and Drew McIntyre, between him and Drew McIntyre. Especially because I did not understand this Madcap Moss guy for the longest time, and now I realize, oh, okay, this guy's just a bad joke teller who makes Corbin laugh all the time. I like the happy gimmick. I like how it was, I like the way it was developed. He's down on his luck, and all of a sudden he hits big in Vegas. That's fucking clever as all fuck, So, and then the fact that he went undefeated for the longest time after becoming Happy Corbin. So, And of course, these are the notes that I took. Why is this match so early on the card? I thought it could have been a lot later. I love Corbin's slide around the post. I really do like it. I think it's a great move. I think it's a great segue into another move, and I think it's creative. And it's one of those moves where it's like, he could. It just, I don't know. It's creative. I like it. Very good back and forth between the two of them, and then Corbin hits the deep six. I thought that was the end of the match, and it wasn't. Then he hits the end of days, and Drew kicks out. And from what I understand, that was the first time anyone had ever kicked out of end of days. End of days was one of the most protected moves in all of wrestling until WrestleMania. And now I don't even know if there is a protected finisher anymore. I'm not going to say Randy Orton's punt because when Shawn Michaels no-sold that, that kind of ruined it. And you can't really say the Razor's Edge, even though it was undefeated when Scott Hall would use it, because if Scott Hall knew he was going to lose, he wouldn't use the move. He did not let anyone kick out of that move. But Drew and Corbin was a great match overall. Rey and Dominic versus Miz and Logan Paul, the first celebrity match of the weekend. And let me tell you something. I am humble enough to admit I was wrong. Why was I wrong? Because I thought this match was going to suck. I thought Logan Paul was going to shit. Like, I literally thought it was going to be shit. I thought he was going to, flake out. I thought he wasn't going to take it seriously. I thought he was going to be the whole, oh, I'm Logan Paul and you're not type thing. No. Dude. Logan Paul understands the business. And I hate to say this because, I'm not a fan of Logan Paul. I respect Logan Paul. I respect him for being a self-promoting mogul like he is. He's not ashamed to put himself out there. He doesn't have shame. He tries new things. I respect Logan Paul. Just like how I respect Jake Paul. I respect anybody who has the balls to go out and try to make a name for themselves without the help of anybody else. They just happen to be huge YouTube stars, so they've got that platform. Me, not so much. Hit 1 million views on TikTok, but that's just about it. But yeah, the entire match, I'm thinking that Dominic was going to turn heel on Rey, and he didn't. So, we've got that possibility running through my head. I'm like, fuck, I have a feeling that he's going to do it. You know what I mean? I have a feeling like at some point during the match, he's going to, Rey's going to go in for a 619 and Dominic's going to kick him or something like that. And it didn't happen. And then the other thing that I thought to myself was they're not going to have Logan Paul lose. He's one of the biggest names in boxing right now. He's got one of the biggest podcasts in the world. He's a literal commodity. So he's not going to lose. He can't lose, The entrances start. Rey and Dominic jump out of the ring. Now, I'm one to pay close attention to the to the details with the stage and everything like that. But I am not one to leave out details. And what I mean by that is if I see that there's a hole in the stage, it means I know that somebody is going to be coming up from the stage, in some dramatic fashion. In this case, I was wrong about all 3 holes that I saw on the stage because there was the one in the very back and then there were the 2 on the side. And I was like, oh, they're going to have some weird pyro or something. And it turns out, no. Rey and Dominic are going to jump out of the stage like Rey's old theme. And I was like, fuck, that was cool. So, oh, and then another thing that I said too, because I was listening to commentary. Jimmy Smith is a great value Joe Rogan, and you can't convince me otherwise. But no, so here's the thing that impressed me, all right? Logan Paul took the time to understand the wrestling industry. And from what I understand, I guess he's been a wrestling fan for a long time. I guess him and Jake used to wrestle in the backyard. I guess that, they were, they were fans of the sport. I did not realize that Logan was actually training in ring, learning how to take bumps, learning how to jump off the top rope, learned where the camera was, learned how to he held Dominic in a headlock and he made him, he faced him towards the hard cam. The celebrities, with the exception of Bad Bunny, because Bad Bunny was great. The celebrities are like, they don't really take it as seriously as they should. Logan Paul did. And I love how he was stealing Eddie Guerrero's moves. He stole the Three Amigos. He stole the Frog Splash. He looked into the hard camera with that, like, fuck you look. I thought that was great. The ending was awesome. Logan Paul and The Miz end up getting the win. And, it was a great back and forth match. And then Miz turns on Logan. And I'm like, okay, I guess they got to make Logan Paul look like the babyface before he leaves, so he doesn't completely get booed out of the building. So, good match. Now the match of the night. Becky and Bianca. What a fucking match. What a amazing technical wrestling match. There were hope spots. There were false finishes. The fucking... it was just everywhere. It was all over the place, dude. Becky using Bianca's hair, as the fucking, defense and the attack, pulling her into the turnbuckles. Fucking, I'm just so happy we didn't see Bianca whip the shit out of Becky again. 30 seconds into the match, it was just like SummerSlam, where Becky hits the manhandle slam and tries to pin her, but she kicks out this time. And then you get further into the match, and you're thinking, all right, well, maybe, Becky's going to use the disarm her, which she did. And then fucking Bianca used the disarm her. And then you got Becky stealing moves, and Bianca stealing moves. And finally, at the very end, Bianca gets the, her fucking, I don't remember what the hell it's called, but she gets her finisher on her. 1, 2, 3. And what a fucking amazing match it was. Just the back and forth. Here are my notes, all right? I said I love Becky's entrance. I thought Becky's entrance was great. Her coming out with the Escalade gives her a really, like, superstarish vibe. It was almost kind of like what Sasha did a couple of years ago at WrestleMania 32. And then that marching band comes out for Bianca, and at first I was like, are they chanting bullshit? Like, go back and listen to it. It sounds like they're saying bullshit. I said I really want Bianca to win. Now, I'm not going to say I'm a Bianca mark, but I really like what she does, and I really like the story, the story that they've told with her, of her being the underdog and, having to fight for everything. She's headlined WrestleMania. Well, I'm not going to say headlined. But she's, been in a WWE Women's Championship match for 2 years in a row. Once against Sasha, and now this time against Becky, which she won both of them. And I'm wondering if she's got a streak right now for WrestleMania, if she's 2-0. I'm not sure yet. She's got the... Then again, was she at WrestleMania 36? I'm not sure. I'll have to look into that. The match was almost over really quickly. The counters were fantastic. The pin counters, the universals, the fucking headlock counters, the shit with the braid, the turnbuckle stuff, the fact that they were in and out of the ring. Like, the technical wrestling was great. And I've said in the past, I love technical wrestling because I love the idea of putting thought into your moves. And then I was thinking, watching all of this could be match of the night, and it was. And it absolutely was. And when that match was finally over, I put down in my notes, I said, what a fucking match. Bianca deserved that win. And you're going to notice something. If you watch her win the title from Sasha last year as opposed to this year, she was really happy and, like, almost marking out, like, almost crying last year. And this year, she's, like, stone-faced serious. Like, I know I deserve this. I'm the fucking man. I won. Now this is my time to shine. Huge demeanor change. It's crazy what can happen over a year. And I said match of the night guaranteed, and I was absolutely right. It was match of the night, and I think it was probably second best match of the entire weekend. Seth versus some mystery opponent. Now, I had 3 ideas of who this could have been. I was listening to the dirt sheets, and I was like, all right, it's going to be Cody Rhodes, because I saw that he had signed with WWE in some capacity, but then they were saying that he backed out of the WrestleMania match, and that things happened and certain things weren't taking place. So I was like, all right, maybe it's not Cody. Then I saw Wyndham Rotunda, Bray Wyatt, post something on Instagram saying that he was in Dallas for something. I was like, okay, what if it's the Fiend returning? How cool would that be if, like, you see Seth Rollins in the middle of the ring, all of a sudden you see the lights go out and the fucking, like, you know, like all that shit. And then the fucking Fiend comes out. But then I was like, no, because the last time the Fiend and Seth Rollins wrestled each other, it was fucking garbage. And then I thought, you know what? Maybe they're swerving us. It's going to be Veer Mahan. Because they were saying, oh, Veer Mahan is coming. He's coming. He's almost here. He finally found a car. He learned how to use a GPS. He's going to show up. And he didn't. So Rollins gets in the ring. And by the way, I have never liked Seth Rollins. I never will like Seth Rollins. I think he's stale. I think he's overused. I think he is overpromoted. I think he's overdone. I never liked him when he was with the Shield. I didn't like him when he turned on the Shield, when he was with the Authority. When the Authority turned on him and he won the title, I never liked him then. I never liked him when he was a babyface. I never liked him when he faced Roman Reigns for the title, when he came back from injury. I never liked him when he was facing Sting. I never liked him when he was, you know, doing the whole thing with Bray Wyatt. I've never been a fan of Seth Rollins. That said, he had a damn good match. Oh, and then the other thing I was thinking too, I thought it was going to be Shane McMahon because they teased the fact that Shane had re-signed with WWE for the weekend, and I know that was the original plan, was Seth versus Shane, until Shane decided to get all fucking power hungry, and then they fired him. Lights go out, oh, the pyro goes up, the lights go out, next thing you know, you hear, wrestling has more than one royal family, and then fucking Kingdom by Downstate comes on. I was like, oh my god, it's fucking Cody. It's Cody fucking Rhodes, holy shit, with his AEW shit. It wasn't Cody that we saw before he left. It wasn't Stardust. It was Cody Rhodes. The dude who fucking went and took over the indies. This is the Cody Rhodes that we were getting. And I was waiting for an AEW chant. So the match starts, you know, they're getting all fucking, you know, going back and forth with the holds and everything and the spots and all that. And I saw at one point, I think it was Cody who went up for a moonsault. And it looked like he was supposed to land and pin Rollins, and it looked like it didn't happen. So I was wondering if that was a botch. And then I was writing the notes down as I was watching the match, and I was saying, part of me would not be surprised if Cody loses, because I saw what they did to Sting. I saw what they did, you know, when Sting came in, and they basically jobbed him out as a punishment for not joining WCW. I thought that this was going to be a punishment for starting AEW and talking all that shit about WWE, and then I realized they can't ruin this push. Cody is the first major star to go from AEW to WWE. If they ruin this, if he is not the champion in a year, that is going to prove to everybody in AEW that if you go to WWE, they're going to treat you like shit and probably leave you in catering for a couple months. So they really have no choice but to push Cody. I said I love the match so far. It was very, you know, it was very technical, and again, I like technical wrestling. I'm a huge fan of it. I thought that Cody feeding into Rollins' heelish shit, and then Rollins feeding into Cody's shit, and then, you know, I saw a little bit of heel Cody in there as well, about halfway through the match, you know. A little bit of that Bullet Club Cody coming out, but the crowd was digging it. The double inverted suplex, the superplex off of the top rope, and then the other suplex, which is usually a regular suplex that Rollins delivers, only this one was backwards. And I was like, all right, Cody's taken this bump enough. He'll be able to do it, because let's face it, he took it through a burning table. And then when I realized, I was like, oh shit, Seth is rolling back. He's going to pick him up again for the second suplex. I was like, shit, that was cool. And then Seth goes up for the Phoenix Splash, and the first thing I'm thinking is, he's never hit this. Why is he doing this? I know he's never hit it. And I had a feeling, I was like, he's going to try to go for the Phoenix Splash. Cody's going to move out of the way. Rollins is going to land on his feet, turn around. Cody's going to get him into the fucking, the crossroads, which he did. Cody hits the crossroads. He brings him up. Doesn't pin him. Picks him up. Hits the dusty elbows, the dusty punches in the elbows. Then hits 2 more crossroads to win. And that blew me away. I was like, holy shit. Seth jobbed out to Cody, and Cody wasn't embarrassed. So, yeah, that was a solid match. I don't even want to talk about the Charlotte versus Ronda match. I'm going to be completely honest with you. I feel like that match was boring. It was overhyped and underdelivered. The crowd was losing interest. I thought it was going to be a squash match at first, and it wasn't. And then Charlotte fucking wins with a big boot. Ronda literally has the ability to kill somebody, and you're not going to put the title on her, especially after all that hype, her being gone for 2 years, even though I could see it as a punishment in a way. The one thing I said, though, is that it should have been a submission match between Ronda's armbar and Ronda's ankle lock and Charlotte's figure eight, which I can't believe Ronda got out of. And I thought after that she should have won, and she didn't. But I was like, if they're going to make this match anything, it should be a submission match. And I feel like if they were to do it again, it should be a submission match. Who knows? Maybe at WrestleMania Backlash, we'll get something like that. And it also didn't help that the screen went black a couple of times because Charlotte's wardrobe malfunctioned. But it be what it be, I guess, huh? And then I noticed the New Day match got cut. Kind of upset about that. And I'll tell you why. I was upset because I was really hoping that they would, get back at Ridge Holland for breaking Big E's neck. That was your storyline right there. You hurt our friend. You almost ended his career. You could have killed him. We're gonna get you now. This is the serious New Day. We're gonna get you. This is for our friend. And it never happened. Well, it did. It happened on night 2. The main event of night 1. Guys, I was not expecting this, and I barely took notes because I was so glued to the screen. Kevin Owens show, the KO show with special guest Stone Cold Steve Austin. And there's a little Easter egg in there that I'm going to let you guys know of, and you're not going to believe me until you go back and watch it. Kevin Owens starts talking shit about Texas, about Stone Cold Steve Austin, about all these legends that are from Texas. He's saying that, Texans, it was kind of like the SpongeBob episode. Can we say shoes from Texas are dumb? Stuff like that. That's basically what Owens was saying. Stone Cold Steve Austin's music hits at exactly 3 hours and 16 minutes into the pay-per-view. Sorry. Premium live event. At exactly 3 hours and 16 minutes. You don't believe me? Go look it up. Austin comes out. Sorry, I'm eating Cracker Jack and drinking Arnold Palmer while I'm doing this podcast. By the way, I never even tried my magic potion. Hold on, let me try this. Okay. Not sour. It says I'm going to have the shits later, so oh well. I gotta give that a 2.9. Oh, wow, that shit sucked. Horrible aftertaste. All right. Stone Cold Steve Austin comes out, sits down. By the way, he's in gear. He's in his jeans. He's got his knee braces on, his wrists taped. In his wrestling boots. Something was going to happen. Owens starts talking shit about him to his face, saying that, hey, he could be a better man. He can leave Texas and move to Canada. Austin's like, why are you really doing this? What's your problem? Owens is like, I'm not going to lie. I didn't want to call you out here to talk. I wanted to call you out here for a match. Stone Cold accepts. Now, at first, I thought it was going to be a squash. Stone Cold hits Owens with a stunner. Pulls him into the corner, hits a couple mud holes on him, picks him up again, another stunner, 1, 2, 3, it would be over. Beer bash, go home. This was a 20-minute street fight. Owens is beating the shit out of Stone Cold. Stone Cold is beating the shit out of Owens. They bring it outside of the ring. Owens throws Stone Cold into the turnbuckle, or not into the turnbuckle, into the ring post, and he fucking bumps. Throws him outside of the barricade into the crowd. Stone Cold takes a suplex onto concrete. Then they go back over the barricade. They start fighting some more. They get onto the quad. They bring the quad up to the top of the stage, which, by the way, they almost hit the pyrotechnics, and that would have been really devastating. They start fighting up on the stage. Austin takes a bump on the stage. They're throwing each other around up there. They bring him back down. Mind you, Austin is drinking beer throughout this entire thing, and I noticed the more he drank, the better he got. It was almost as if he wasn't missing anything. The more Austin drank, the better he got. You can't tell me I'm wrong. It's fucking weird. Stone Cold, throwing beers, and you can also tell he was getting drunk because he couldn't catch a beer to save his life. But he was laughing. He looked like he was having fun. Owens hits Stone Cold with a stunner. Goes in for the pin. Stone Cold kicks out. How are you going to hit Stone Cold with his own move? Only The Rock did that. Austin gets up. Owens goes in for something. I forgot what it was. Austin reverses it. Hits the stunner. 1, 2, 3. Beer bash. Beer's flying everywhere. Byron Saxton comes in. Why? Gets a stunner. Thought that was great. And then you end the night with Stone Cold celebrating and all that shit. It was great. And he looked happy. He looked like he was having a lot of fun. And, if that's his last match, you know what, dude? Let him go out into the sunset like that. I want the very last time I ever see Stone Cold in the ring for a match to be a good one with a smile. He was having fun. So that ended night 1. Night 2. Had a couple of matches on here that were pretty good. We had one particular match that was really good. And the other one sucked. Some of them sucked. We start off with the Raw Tag Team Championship. RK Bro versus the Street Profits versus Alpha Academy. This was another match that was great and full of technical moves. And when you have somebody like Chad Gable in there, who is a technical wrestling master, who was an Olympic gold medalist just like Kurt Angle, that's what's going to happen. Otis is great. I did not realize that he was a collegiate wrestler and he's actually knowledgeable about wrestling. I've always said that Montez Ford is one of the best high flyers in the business, not just WWE. That dude jumps off of the top rope and he's 11 feet off the ground before he decides that he wants to come down and take a bump. His back is going to be fucked in the next couple of years. That's all I'm saying. But I also think that he's had one of the best frog splashes in the business just because it's how committed he is. I feel like he gets higher up than Velveteen Dream did, and I always said for a while that Velveteen Dream had a fucking beautiful elbow drop. By the way, I wish that guy would come back. I said Gable is seriously underrated. I said I loved Randy Orton's energy. I really liked Montez Ford going over the top turnbuckle, over the post, not even touching it and hitting everybody. And then RK Bro ends up winning with that gorgeous cutter that Riddle hit, followed by the RKO that Randy hit on Chad Gable after he springboarded off of the top rope. That was just beautiful, picturesque. And they end up winning. And then Street Profits and RK Bro, they call in Gable Steveson, who's sitting there at ringside, which, by the way, they got to do something with this guy. Have him cut a promo. Do something. Because you can't say that you're going to sign an Olympic gold medalist and not have him do anything. At least Kurt Angle was doing shit by this time. They're about to toast. And at first I thought Randy and Riddle were going to turn heel on the Street Profits. And it turns out they're ready to toast, and here comes Gable, slaps the shit out of that cup. And they all just, they leave the ring while Gable Steveson decides to come in and, beat the shit out of Chad Gable, which I have a feeling once they officially sign Steveson, he's either going to get a name change or Gable's going to get a name change, because they're going to have two Gables in there. As you can tell, it's a little confusing. It was cool seeing him, but again, I think they need to do something with him. Second match of the night, one that wasn't really that good, Haas versus Lashley. I feel like this match didn't need to happen, but I understand why now that I saw what happened the night after. The match could have been a little longer. I do like Bobby Lashley as a babyface. I think he's great as a babyface. I like how he was trying to feed into the crowd. I did not realize Haas was that fucking massive. Let me give you guys a little idea of how big Haas is, all right? If you took Andre the Giant and took 200 pounds off of him, that is how big Omos is. Omos is the size of Andre. They said Omos was 400 pounds. Andre typically weighed in at about 530 to 600. And even Hogan said the night that he slammed Andre at WrestleMania 3, he was more like 700 pounds. But they didn't even bother, telling him to lose the weight because it was the main event of the biggest WrestleMania at that time. So they just let him go in. But Andre was a big dude. Omos is a big dude. Match wasn't really back and forth. I got the offense. Lashley's spear to the kidneys, and then Lashley's spear to the front ends up taking down Omos, and he pins him 1, 2, 3. And then you got the night after on Raw where fucking Omos is like, all right, well, I'm going to come out here. I'm going to kick the shit out of Bobby Lashley. And Lashley comes out and is like, here, I'll fucking beat you up. And then MVP turns on Bobby Lashley and joins forces with Haas. I'm like, all right, well, I guess that's that. Third match, and this was the one that I was surprised about. Sami Zayn versus Johnny Knoxville, because I was expecting this to be some stupid, slobber knocker type thing, and Knoxville was going to get his ass kicked because, let's face it, the last couple of times that somebody from Jackass was on a wrestling show, they just got the shit kicked out of them, i.e. Chris Pontius and Steve-O. Or the last time that Johnny Knoxville was on and he faced Big Show or something like that, and Big Show beat the shit out of him. I thought the build-up to this was fucking hysterical. With Knoxville, Sami Zayn getting Knoxville's number, and then, texting him, and then Knoxville, he flies Zayn's phone number over Los Angeles on the back of a plane. I thought that was great. I originally thought this was going to be for the Intercontinental Championship too, but I guess they wanted to change the plans. And it would have been nice to see the Intercontinental or the United States title on WrestleMania, but God forbid that they take care of any of their mid-card titles anymore because it wasn't the ones that mattered. I thought the match was fucking hysterical. I love the creativity. I thought all of the weapons that they used, the nut kicker, the fucking big hand, the rat trap table, the giant rat trap at the very end, which let's face it, that was just clever. That was really funny. The taser, all of that stuff I thought was great. I was like, they need to put all of this in the new video game, just as downloadable shit, Yeah, the mouse trap table, the nut shot machine, the giant hand, the taser. Wee Man and Chris Pontius get involved with the match. A Wee Man body slams fucking Sami Zayn, which I thought was fucking great. Chris Pontius is out there in his party suit, and I'm like, oh Jesus, please don't let that be a tearaway tracksuit, which it was. And you see Pontius dancing around in a fucking thong, and I'm like, oh my God, there's children there. Please don't let anything slip out. But it didn't, and he ends up going underneath the ring, and I think that was the reason why. The bowling ball to the nuts was hysterical too, because there was no way that Sami Zayn could have blocked that with the velocity that ball was going at. It looked painful. And then of course, I'm thinking after all of this, Knoxville should not be taking these hits. I thought he was told by a doctor that he should not be taking headshots or any sort of falls anymore because of his concussions. He even said that on Howard Stern. He's like, I can't take hits anymore. So, but they end up putting Sami Zayn in the giant rat trap, which didn't work at first, but when it did, it was hysterical. And then Knoxville pins Zayn because he couldn't get up. And then they celebrate. That was a funny fucking match, and that just means it was 2 for 2 with the celebrity matches. Because the Logan Paul match was great, and the Johnny Knoxville match was great. The fuck? The women's tag team fatal 4-way, which was a lot shorter than I thought it was going to be, and the notes that I had on these were really simple. I said Liv Morgan needs to win this, because I feel like they've been pushing her and giving her too many hope storylines and not doing anything with it. I figured her teaming up with Rhea Ripley, but now that I understand what might be going on with Rhea Ripley, I get why they're doing it, but I figured her teaming up with Rhea Ripley was going to be the thing that finally puts a title on her waist, because, let's face it, Rhea's huge, and, Liv Morgan needs a partner like that, and she's kind of just been dwindling. Everybody thought that she was going to be Sister Abigail, and she wasn't, which was kind of disappointing. I always thought Naomi's entrance was awesome. I liked Sasha Banks' entrance as well with the Lamborghini. But then I noticed, when the match started, I was like, the crowd seems really bored. They're not biting at all. They don't really like this match. I mean, yeah, there were a couple of hope spots. There were a couple of high spots, including that double Tower of Doom, that Liv and Rhea ended up hitting, but it didn't really do much, I did like the in-between, like the tagging in and out type thing and how you could really tag anyone, I think Carmella's annoying as fuck. I think Zelina is annoying as fuck. Kind of situation where they really, I don't even know why they were tag team champions. So I honestly thought that Shayna Baszler and Natalya were going to win. With Baszler being a former tag team champion and everything, I thought that was going to have, be the advantage that she had, but, I guess not. They decided to give Sasha and Naomi the title, which actually I found out broke Sasha's losing streak. Sasha had never won at WrestleMania, now she has. And this is I think this is Naomi's third championship win at a WrestleMania, second or third. At first I thought it meant she was a Grand Slam champion, but I realized she only won the SmackDown Women's Championship at WrestleMania, not the Raw. I don't think she's ever won the Raw Women's title, but when she does that, she'll be a Grand Slam champion. And I think this makes Sasha a Grand Slam champion too. No, she was already one because she was tag team champs with Bayley. Which, that's another one I think should come back really soon. So yeah, I said congratulations to Sasha and Naomi. I think Liv Morgan's momentum is over. From what I understand, they've got a tag team championship match next week on Raw. And I think Rhea is going to turn on Liv because she's going to be joining Edge's thing, the New Brood, which leads me conveniently into Edge versus AJ. Match of the night. I think this is contending with match of the weekend next to Belair and Becky. I knew that this was going to be a good match right off the bat. I had a feeling AJ Styles is, in my opinion, one of the best wrestlers in the world. He's been for a very long time, and he gets it. Everybody that he gets put in the ring with, he has a good match with. It doesn't matter. He could wrestle a broomstick and it'd be a fucking great match. I'm surprised he hasn't. Same thing with Edge. Edge never lost it. Edge never lost that in-ring psych that he's got. They called him the master manipulator for a reason, the fucking rated R superstar for a reason. And now he's like completely gone away from all of that. And he's like, if Gangrel, Undertaker, and fucking like the Joker all had a kid, this is Edge. And I love the new gear. I love the new music. It's so dark. And something, it's like we're past the point now where we all feel bad for Edge's neck injury. We know he's back and we can boo him. And then I also took note. I was like, AJ is bleeding on his cheek in the match. He didn't even enter the ring yet. And I found out it's because when he was walking out of the curtain onto the stage, he hit his face on the stage. And there's actually video of that. Somebody posted it. You could see kind of like fucking like leans to the side and took a chunk of his face off. which is crazy because he took slaps on that side of the face too. The technical wrestling in this match was absolutely superior, between the holds, between the locks, between the submission moves that they had both countered, between all of the running reversals that they had countered, the pin attempts, the pin counters, the top rope counters, the out of the ring counters. It was just so fucking synchronized. And the back and forth was just unbelievable. And it's like, I have so much that I can say about this, but at the same time, it's AJ Styles and Edge. This match could have happened 10 years ago, maybe even 15 years ago, and it would have been the same caliber as it was WrestleMania. Unbelievable fucking technical wrestling in this match. The psychology is on pinpoint accurate. Edge knows how to get that crowd going. Edge knows when all of these fucking opportunities come in for these moves. And you can see. You could tell they were calling a lot of spots on the spot too, because you can hear them. But there were things that happened in that match that I feel like should have been like, or could have possibly been like, scripted. But at the same time, I'm like, no, they're too good to be able to not get this done this certain way. Or, they're too smart, they're too well educated in the ring to where if there was a certain point in the match where they feel like something really cool could have happened, they were going to do it. Calling audibles is a crazy thing, and I'm sorry if I didn't word that correctly. The suplex from the top turnbuckle onto the ring apron looked like it hurt both of them really badly. And for those of you who have never been in a wrestling ring, I have. The apron is the hardest and most grueling part of the ring. There is no give. It's not like the center of the ring where if you bounce on it, it's going to cave a little bit because that's the center point. No, the beam on the outside is the actual support to the ring. So there is no, I just saw a woman walking backwards down the sidewalk. This is the shit you see at night at the gallery here in Ansonia. There is no room for error when you're taking a bump on the apron because it could fucking kill you. That's all I'm going to say. It could fuck you up really bad. And that's why I've always wondered why The Undertaker was so willing to do those leg drops to the opponents on the outside of the ring, because of the fact of you basically got to land on a solid metal beam that has no give. So, the suplex into the turnbuckle was brutal. I thought that fucked Edge's neck up. And then there was a point in the match where Edge hit AJ with something, and AJ starts selling part of his body. I forget if it was a shoulder or something, and I was like, is he legitimately injured? Because I know what a collarbone break looks like. And I was like, shit, maybe he's injured. Maybe he's playing it through, who knows? AJ looks like he's going to be getting the win. Hits the 450 splash, goes outside of the ring for the phenomenal forearm, and it looks over his shoulder like, what the fuck are you doing out here? And they don't show who it was at first, and then they pan out, and it's Damian Priest. And I'm like, oh, shit. I heard about this, and I think I know what's going to happen. AJ goes for the phenomenal forearm. Edge hits the spear in midair. 1, 2, 3. Edge is the winner. Damian comes in, shakes hands with Edge, like the kind of like a brotherhood type thing, and you see them walk out together. Is this a new Brood? I wonder. I don't know. All right, New Day versus Ridge Holland and Sheamus, and I'm going to be completely honest with you. I missed this match because I went up to go get chips. And I had no idea that it was going on. And by the time I came back into the room, Ridge and Sheamus won the match. And Pete Dunne, Butch, or however the fuck they're putting him through as now, is beating the shit out of everybody. And I'm like, the fuck? That was supposed to be the redemption for Big E, and they just ruined it. So, Pat McAfee versus Austin Theory. This is a match that I was really excited for because this was either going to be 3 for 3 on the celebrity matches or it was going to be awful, and I knew it was going to be good because I've seen Pat McAfee wrestle and I knew he's good. He's been very passionate about it. He had his first match against Adam Cole, baby, and It was fucking phenomenal, and he was the heel during that match. The first thing I said, I was like, this could be really good. Austin Theory comes out, and I'm like, you know what? All right, good for him. You know, he's got his WrestleMania moment. He's taking the selfies and everything. Vince comes out first and introduces him, which I thought was pretty cool. So you got Vince sitting on the sidelines, and I was like, there's a reason why he's not moving. But we'll get into that in a second. Then here comes Pat McAfee's entrance, and he comes out to fucking Seven Nation Army. I didn't realize that was his music. And, like, you know, the fact that he's, like, got the Dallas Cowboys cheerleaders following him to the ring and everything, and, then he kicks that football halfway across the stadium, and then he gets in there. It looks like he's just vibing and having fun. So the match starts really fast-paced. Austin Theory's going after McAfee. McAfee's going after Theory. I forgot that McAfee could actually wrestle. I didn't realize, he actually learned how to take bumps and fucking suplexes and all that shit. You know? And this is going to be something unbelievable because I haven't said this in a very long time. I loved Michael Cole on commentary. I thought it was so fucking, perfect because Michael Cole said in an interview, he's like, McAfee has completely revitalized my career. He's like, it's fun again. So Michael Cole's marking out. McAfee's getting hit. You know, he's getting knocked down. Austin Theory's getting hit and knocked down. They go up to the turnbuckle for a superplex. McAfee gets knocked off. Gets up and then fucking verticals up onto the top rope, which is 5 feet, guys. And then hits fucking Austin Theory with the superplex. I thought that was going to be the end of the match, but it wasn't. He also tried going in for his fucking punt, and he missed. And then Austin Theory brings him up for the fucking, I forget what the name of his finisher is, and he's about to turn into the move, and then McAfee drops down and pins him with a roll-up and wins the match. Now, 2 things that I had to say. I said McAfee's agility is absolutely amazing, but at the same time, he's also a former NFL player and probably the best kicker to ever do it. And Austin Theory is starting to grow on me. I'm like, I like his character. I'm not going to lie. I think it's better than a lot of the guys. And, you know, he's got that stuck up, cocky, I'm better than you attitude. But it's like, you also got to remember, I've been watching so much AEW. I haven't really been caught up with WWE. This kid can back it up. So there's the celebrity match. They're all fucking good. And then they start leaving the ring. And McAfee goes over to Vince, and Vince is whispering something in McAfee's ear. Or, I'm sorry, Austin Theory's ear, and McAfee's in the ring egging on Vince to get his ass in the ring. And, of course, Vince is teasing him. He's like, maybe I'll take my jacket off, and he puts it back on. And then he takes his jacket off, and he takes his tie off, and he starts unbuttoning his shirt. And I'm like, oh, dear God, please don't let this be a match. Vince McMahon is 76 years old. He does not need to be wrestling right now. And he takes off his button-down shirt, and there's a black tank top. And, of course, anybody who knows Vince McMahon's matches, he used to wear a black tank top. First thing I'm thinking, and my father walked into the room as this match was about to happen. He goes, shit, Vince got flabby. And I'm like, he's 76 years old. He ain't the bodybuilder that he was. I mean, granted, the dude can still squat 1,000 pounds, but, you're going to get flabby after a certain amount of aging. So the match starts. You got Pat overselling the entire fucking thing. The clotheslines were bullshit, which I knew that. You know, the kicks, they were taps to the stomach. And he's selling it as if it's the worst thing that he's ever felt. And then you got Austin Theory coming in and hitting him with moves while the ref's back is turned. And he pulls both of his legs into the turnbuckle and fucks his nuts up really bad. And then, of course, while this is going on, I'm looking at Vince, and I'm like, he looks like an old mafia boss from, Goodfellas or, The Sopranos or something, you know, just like that old Italian guy who always wears the wife beaters and, you know, probably makes a really good Sunday fucking sauce. But then McAfee's selling all of these moves, and then Vince gets that fucking football that he kicks into McAfee. Oh, I'm sorry, he doesn't kick it. He, lightly taps it into McAfee's fucking stomach. And McAfee fucking sells it like it's the worst thing that ever happened, and, you know, Vince pins him 1, 2, 3. And I was like, what the fuck just said? You just killed Pat McAfee's momentum. You just killed his WrestleMania moment. And they're posing in the middle of the ring. Austin Theory's on the top ropes and all that. They come together. They hug. Vince lifts up Austin Theory's arm, and then the glass shatters, and here comes Stone Cold. And I marked the fuck out. I'm like, oh, shit. It's 2022, and we're going to see Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Vince McMahon one more time. And that's exactly what happens. He goes in, hits fucking Theory, because Theory tries attacking him. There's that woman walking backwards again. What the fuck? So weird. There's Stone Cold Steve Austin fighting back, and he hits Austin Theory with a stunner. And by the way, that is the best fucking sell to a stunner I have ever seen in my life. Knowing what came after that. Probably the worst sold stunner. Ironically, on Vince McMahon, who took more stunners than anyone in the goddamn business. But I think it kind of paid homage because he fucked up the first stunner. But you got Austin laughing his ass off because he decides to toast with McMahon. And go figure, I find it funny that like McMahon actually likes the beer this time. And he goes in, he kicks him. McMahon falls to his knees, gets up, bounces off of the rope. Austin's basically got to like position him to get the stunner on him. And he fucking hits the stunner, and Vince is just laying there. And I'm surprised he didn't dead fish like he did the first time. So Austin's having all of these beers. And then he calls in McAfee. McAfee's all excited and everything. He goes up to the top rope. They're throwing the beers around. They smash them together. They drink. Austin gets down, McAfee gets down, and McAfee gets stunnered. And I guess McAfee said that he was not expecting that, and he just kind of sold it. But you could tell Austin was having fun. He was laughing. He was smiling. And I love the shot that they got afterwards where Pat McAfee's sitting there, dazed and confused, laying next to the announce table, just pouring a beer in his mouth. So, really, really happy to see Austin back. And like I said before, if it's the last time, it's the last time. And I'm happy that that's what it was. The main event, Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns. I'm going to talk very briefly about this because there was nothing to take notes of. Okay? I love the build-up. I love the fact that we are now seeing Brock Lesnar as the babyface, finally. He's finally personable. He's got a personality. Everybody is finding out that he can talk. And if you watched him back in 2002, you knew he can talk. He just doesn't like to talk because he said on multiple occasions he has very bad social anxiety. So the fact that they got him to do all of this, jumping in the crowd and taking selfies and doing all of these interviews and all that shit, it's surprising. It's crazy. But I love seeing Cowboy Brock Lesnar. I love seeing Paul Heyman turn on Brock Lesnar, making him lose the WWE title to Bobby Lashley, only to win it back in the Elimination Chamber. It was a winner-take-all, the most important WrestleMania match in history, which it wasn't, but, we're not going to tell Vince that. And then I realized there's a reason why Brock Lesnar and Roman Reigns matches aren't good. Because all it was Superman punch, spear, Superman punch, suplex, F5 attempt, suplex, going through the barricade, back in the ring, suplex, spear, F5. Yeah. And then there was the point, and I think this is the reason why it ended so quickly. There was the point where Brock Lesnar got the Kimura lock on Roman. I think he dislocated his shoulder. Like, you can see his shoulder fucking like that ball of I don't know what it was. It looked like he was hurt, which is why I was wondering why it took 30 seconds for Lesnar to get Roman up on his shoulders, Roman to get down, push him into the ropes and spear him 1, 2, 3 on a spear that didn't even look bad. But I guess Roman got fucked up. I guess his shoulder was really hurt. But you know what? I got to give him credit. He's working through the pain. I don't think he needs surgery. I mean, you can hear him calling an audible to Paul Heyman saying, it's out, it's out. He's telling the ref, it's out. But I guess, you even saw him hold on to the rope and pull his arm back and it would socket, which I was like, fuck, that was weird. But yeah, now you've got Roman Reigns as your undisputed WWE Universal Champion, and I don't know where they're going to go with this. I heard two things. I heard that it was going to be an actual unification. They're going to come out with a new belt and all that shit. But at the same time, I also heard that they might not, and it might just be Roman 2 belts, kind of like Becky. Which makes me wonder if maybe Cody's going to beat Roman for the WWE title, because he said on the Raw after Mania that he wants to win the WWE title. And I have a feeling it's going to happen at SummerSlam, and I think that's when Brock's going to come back, and Brock's going to cost Roman the belt, just like Heyman cost Brock the belt. I think it's going to be the only way you see Roman Reigns lose. And he's not even going to take Cody's finisher. It's probably going to be an F5. Who knows? My overall rating for WrestleMania 38, guys, and you're probably going to call me crazy when I say this, this was in the top 3 best WrestleManias I've ever seen, and I've seen every single one of them. I was born in 1993, so that was WrestleMania 11, so I haven't seen all of them live, but I have made sure to have watched every single WrestleMania in its entirety, and there have been some great ones, and there have been some pretty bad ones. 27. And 36. But there have also been some really good ones. WrestleMania, in my opinion, 23 is my absolute favorite. 17 was phenomenal. 38 is up there. I'm a little biased to 29 because I was there. But I think WrestleMania 38, if I had to rate it, it'd be an 8.5 out of 10. The matches were great. The storylines were great. You had the matches that you wanted the babyface to win, like desperately, they won. The matches where the heel should have gone over, i.e. the Logan Paul match, perfectly done. The celebrity matches were great. You know, it had the WrestleMania feel to it. The only thing that I had to say, and I mean, this is the same for every WrestleMania. I know the attendance was bullshit. You know, they tried to say that, you know, combined after both days, they had 160-something thousand people in attendance. But the only thing I have against that is they had WrestleMania 32 in the same building. And I mean, granted, the stage wasn't the biggest, but it was still big. They said that there were 101,000 people in there. How are you gonna... Let's see, what did they say the first night was? 74,899, I think, something like that. 74, 84, 94, that's 20,000, 25, 6, how do you not be able to fit almost 30,000 people into that building, knowing that there's room? You know? Same thing with the other night. I don't know. That's the only gripe I had about it. Yeah, WrestleMania 38. I'm at the point, I'm actually happy that it's a 2-night event now. I don't have to fucking watch wrestling for 8 hours a day anymore, including the Hall of Fame ceremony, which made me cry, by the way. Because let's face it, it's The Undertaker going to the Hall of Fame, and he got a longer standing ovation than Hulk Hogan, and I called that 10 years ago. So, yeah. But guys, that's my opinion of WrestleMania. 8.5 if I had to rate it. Top 3 best that there ever was. I can't wait to see what happens throughout the booking session, you know, between now and SummerSlam. You know, I think it was great. So, AEW, I'll talk about that another day. So, but that was it. That's my WrestleMania podcast, guys. I want to thank you guys for listening. And if you like this, definitely share it. And I'm looking for guests, so if you want to be on, come on. My next guest is going to be Rich DiCarlo. We talked about paranormal shit. So today is Friday. This is going to be up probably by midnight tonight. And then Rich's podcast is going to be up either Saturday or Sunday. So it's going to be back to back. So, and then I'll be back on my regular podcast schedule. So, all right, guys, thank you for listening. I'm Chris with Magician with a Microphone podcast, and I will see you guys later.